Balan sir,
Yes,
should
sir.
we start the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Am I
okay,
audible,
okay.
sir?
Um,
Am I audible, sir?
yes, yes, you are you are clearly and comfortably audible.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
But but what about Meet sir? Meet sir,
Sir, we sir already present here.
Meet sir has not yet joined. Is it? Meet sir, do you listen to me? Am I audible?
Uh,
Meet sir, hello.
no, sir.
Um, I don't find Meet sir here. Balaram,
No, sir.
is
Me, sir, not.
has Meet sir joined?
No, sir.
Meet sir is not here.
Yes, sir.
Maybe it is not yet 3 o'clock by his clock. Um, okay, we can wait for him. Balan sir,
Yes, sir.
I am just I am delinking myself for a minute or two. I am calling him up.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
Balan sir, are you sitting in the agenda?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir.
Are you with the agenda? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, um, tell me what are there in the agenda?
Sir, sir, welcome address.
Welcome address by Balan Swai.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then,
Sir, presidential address by you.
yes. Next,
Yes, sir. The chief speaker, Mir sir.
yes. Then,
Vote of thanks, Mrs. Mamta Rani Puridan.
yes. Next.
Sir,
Okay, okay.
thank you, sir.
Good. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Maybe Meet sir has already joined, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Meet sir. Yes,
Sir, Mir
yes.
sir already joined, sir.
Um, okay. So now, I welcome you all to on today's webinar captioned Dr. Ambedkar's vision of social democracy and human rights. At the outset, I will request our convener and coordinator of the program, Professor Balram Swai, to present his welcome address.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you who have gathered here. I am Balaram Swai, lecturer and head, Department of Political Science, SM Mahavidyalaya, Asresar Katak. It is a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to the state level webinar on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Vision of Social Democracy and Human Rights, organized by Department of Political Science, collaboration with IPSC, SN Mahavidyalaya, Assessor Katak. In this joyful occasion, I am proud to welcome our respected principal, Dr. Dilip Kumar Mistry sir. He is a good administrator, academician, above all a good human being and the chief patron of this webinar. I welcome you, sir. I also grateful to welcome our esteemed resource person, Dr. Mihir Ranjan Sethi sir. He is the former regional director of higher education, government of Odisha. He also a prolonged academic administrative experience as he is working as a register of RD University, Bhubaneswar, and also the staff member of Lok Sabha Secretariat, New Delhi, and the life member of Indian Institute of Public Administration, and uh, and also the member of Youth Rectors Society, India, New Delhi, and also the member of in Youth Hostel Association of New Delhi. It is I welcome you, sir, on behalf of SN Mahavidyalaya, especially Department of Political Science, and to the participant. I welcome you, sir, heartily. Now I welcome our IPSC coordinator, Mohammad Sakil sir, who have given immense support to organize this webinar. I welcome you, sir. Now also I like to welcome Dr. Suprabha Parida madam, IPSC member, who also inspired us and motivates us to organize this. I welcome you, ma'am. I also like to welcome all the faculties members and my friends who have joined from different colleges. Committee members who have to design this, like to welcome all my dear students and mass participants. I wish you all enjoy this webinar. Thank you. Now I like to welcome. Now I like to preside over the meeting. Sir. Over to sir.
Should I start? ये शकील बाबू कहीं हुआ देखिए.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very good afternoon to all participants, especially my respected principal of today's and resource person. I have with me, sir, has a lot of potential. Sir, give us ideas, views, and his thoughts regarding Dr. Ambedkar vision, social democracy and human. A lot of again, University, in Women's University, and in other also important places. So I again welcome sir to this webinar, sir, and I now request our principal sir, over to principal sir to request our esteemed resource person to start the webinar. Over to principal sir.
Yes, our esteemed This person is now readily available uh, to present his deliberation, address the participants, students, teacher friends from this college and colleges across Odisha. Um, without spoiling our valuable time, I will now request Professor Dr. Mihir Ranjan Sethi sir to start his presentation. Over to Mihir sir.
Thank you, sir. Esteemed Principal Dr. Dilip Misra, esteemed faculty members of Subhadra Mohata College, and other faculty faculty members from other colleges. Ladies and gentlemen. So it is a proud privilege for me to address the seminar or webinar, which is being organized by the Department of Political Science and Accuracy of Subhadra Mohata College. So you have chosen the topic that Ambedkar's vision of social democracy and human rights. Although I have asked to speak on Ambedkar, so I do not have much knowledge about the philosophy of Ambedkar. I am a student of political science, so I am just reminding you the statements of Professor Upendra Bakshi, who was the Vice Chancellor of Delhi University, University Hall, London, and Professor of Emeritus at OP Jindal University. So, Professor Upendra Bakshi is a legal luminary, Professor of Law of Delhi University, former Professor of Law. So, he has been a great admirer of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and he has been fascinated by his contribution towards the making of the Indian Constitution and establishment of the social democracy. So Professor Upendra Bakshi has strongly criticized that how the Indian intellectuals have become bankrupt of not doing research on Ambedkar, whereas there has been a lot of research on Gandhi, Nehru, etc. That is why Professor Upendra Bakshi has said that the UGC, ICTR, so they have delivered, and ICSR, they have delivered neglected research on Ambedkar, and you will hardly find that that any research has been done by the Indian after 1950s. You will find that Professor Mrs. Eleanor Jenny of University of Arizona, she was the first American to do research on life of Ambedkar. Thereafter, you'll find that another American lady, Professor Gail Ombed, who is from America, who was doing research on problems of the untouchables in India. She had visited Maharashtra, and while doing research on Dalit issues, so she fell in love with a Dalit doctor and got married, stayed in India, in Maharashtra, and she has recently died, Professor Gail Ombed. So she is a women activist, also organizing the feminist movement in Maharashtra, is a popular sociologist. So this is how we are so poor in recognizing the contribution of Ambedkar towards his contribution towards social reform. That is why Professor Upendra has strongly criticized UGC, ICSR, and also ICSR. So, at the outset, I would like to say that Dr. Ambedkar was a great scholar, jurist, economist, sociologist, political scientist, and also anthropologist. So Dr. Ambedkar had the bitter experience of social inequality. He had suffered since his childhood. Then he got an opportunity to get the scholarship of Maharaja of Baroda, Siyajirao Gaikwad. He offered him a scholarship. Then he got a chance to study in Columbia University of America, did his MA in political science, then PhD from Columbia University. Then he went to London School of Economics. There he studied economics under the and he was also student of Professor Harold Lasky, who is considered as a great political scientist at the London School of Economics. Then he completed his DSc, Doctor of Science in Economics. Then Bar at Law from Gray's Inn. Then you'll find an LLD from Columbia University. So he had two PhD, from one from Columbia University, another from London School of Economics, which is known as DSc. Then you'll find that thereafter he came back to India and wanted to emancipate his own Dalit community, fought for their rights. So he championed the cause of the downtrodden people initially. Thereafter, you'll find that Dr. Ambedkar had published magazines like Janata, Mukanayak. Then you'll find that he had also led the Mahad Satyagraha to have drinking water for the untouchable people. Then in 1927, on 25th December, he burned down the Manusmriti, which had given lower status to the downtrodden, Shudras, and also women. So with the help of his Brahmin friend, Mr. Sahasra Budhe, who burned down the Manusmriti as a protest against the prescription of spirituality by the Manusmriti. Thereafter, he had an encounter with Mahatma Gandhi during the Round Table Conference in 31 and 32. Then there was also conflict between Gandhi and Ambedkar regarding separate electorates. So Gandhi launched fast unto death. So in order to oppose the separate electorates for the untouchables. And finally, Pune Pact was signed between Gandhi and Ambedkar 1932, which led the introduction of reservation system for the untouchables in legislature and educational institutions. Thereafter, Ambedkar was elected, and Ambedkar had also formed the Independent Labour Party in 1937, and he contested the election. He was championing the cause of the laborers. That is why he won several seats, and for the first time he had established the Independent Labour Party to champion the cause of the working class people. Thereafter, Dr. Ambedkar was nominated to the Viceroy's Executive Council as a labor member. So Dr. Ambedkar had uh, contributed towards the labor movement as a labor member. So he, for the first time, convinced the government to establish the trade union movement, trade unions, and a right to strike by the workers. Then he also reduced working hours from the 14 hours to 8 hours. Then PF, Provident Fund for the workers, maternity leave for women, then insurance policy for the workers, and participation of workers in the management, then leave, CL and EL. So many things he has contributed towards the upliftment of the working class people, laborers. So that is why you'll find that the trade union movements nowadays are you'll find that different political parties, they hardly remember Dr. Ambedkar's contribution towards upliftment of the laborers. So on May Day, you'll find that no trade union leader utters the name of Dr. Ambedkar, although he has contributed so much for the working class people. Similarly, for upliftment of the women, he has done so much work. He had introduced the Hindu Code Bill, 1951. He was, before that, he was appointed as the first Law Minister of India in Nehru's interim cabinet, which was formed in the year 1946. Thereafter, he was invited to he was appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee, although 7 members were the members of drafting committee, and it was Dr. Ambedkar who had single-handedly framed the constitution and as a chairman of the drafting committee, because many members, they were absent in attending the meetings, drafting committee meeting. So it was Dr. Ambedkar who single-handedly framed the constitution in spite of his bad health. So that is why he is hailed as the modern Manu, as Manu had given law for the Hindus. So then you'll find that as a law minister, he had requested Nehru to pass the Hindu Code Bill, which should provide a right to property for Hindu women, right to divorce, and right to remarry as a widow. So all these provisions were there in the Hindu Code Bill, which was introduced by Dr. Ambedkar. Although Nehru had agreed to pass the Hindu Code Bill in Parliament, so there was strong opposition from the Congress party, members of the Congress party, especially Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was the president of India. We strongly opposed regarding the Hindu Code Bill. Dr. Ambedkar wanted to reform the Hindu society. He wanted the uniform law for all the Hindus, which will not be based on any discrimination. There will be no discrimination. So women will be given right to property, right to divorce, right to marry. So many good provisions were mentioned in the Hindu Code Bill, which gave women equal rights at par with the male people. But this was opposed by conservative elements, including Dr. Rajendra Prasad. That is why Hindu Code Bill could not be passed. Dr. Ambedkar, as a law minister, resigned from the Nehru cabinet in protest by resigning from his cabinet. So this is how Dr. Ambedkar wanted to establish social democracy by championing the cause of working class people. As a member of the Vice as Executive Council, he made so many reforms. He made, he made so many provisions for the working class people, for the women. So that is why Ambedkar is considered as the pioneer of social democracy. You'll find that Abraham Lincoln has given the definition of democracy. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Then Walter Weishaupt had also given the definition that it is a government by discussion. But Dr. Ambedkar was not happy with all these definitions, and you'll find that India was established as a democratic country, a republican country, with effect from 26 January 1950. India became a republican nation. India became a democratic nation. India became a sovereign nation. So Dr. Ambedkar has very precisely mentioned in the preamble to the Indian Constitution that which reads that we the people of India, having solemnly resolved, constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic country, and to secure all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of opportunity, and to promote among them all liberty, assuring the dignity of the individual. And he had also talked about fraternity and unity of the nation. So you'll find that this constitution was adopted on 26th day of November 1949. So India became a sovereign democratic country, a republican nation. But Ambedkar was not happy with this definition of democracy as a government by discussion or government of the people, by the people, for the people. Dr. Ambedkar wanted that the Indian democracy is or should be this is a political democracy, and it should be accompanied by social and economic democracy. So he said that political democracy is meaningless, will not be successful unless there is at the base is social democracy. So social democracy is the foundation for political democracy. So without social democracy, the political democracy cannot survive. That is why he had given emphasis on social democracy. You'll find that Nehru and other liberals were happy with that democratic government or political democracy, which is based on parliamentary establishment of constitution and parliamentary democracy. But Ambedkar had given emphasis on social democracy. He said that social democracy is based on the three principles, that is liberty, equality, and fraternity. So this trinity cannot be diverse from each other. If you separate liberty from equality, then political democracy will be meaningless. Or if you separate equality from liberty, it will be meaningless. But he gave more emphasis on equality and fraternity. Although Western democracies are based on political democracy or political reform, without any social and economic reform. That is why Dr. Ambedkar had given emphasis on social and social equality as well as fraternity. This fraternity concept, although it is part of the French Revolution, liberty, equality, fraternity, so Dr. Ambedkar had borrowed it from Buddhist Sangh, and he had said that Buddhist Sangh is a more is based on social democracy. So Dr. Ambedkar had been greatly influenced by Buddhism, which is based on equality and fraternity. That is why he wanted a social reform, a social democracy based on Buddhist principle of equality and fraternity. That is why in 1935 he had given warning to the Hindu society that I was born as a Hindu, which was beyond my control, but I will not die as a Hindu. So that is why he gave a warning to the Hindu society. You reform your society, you remove the social inequality from the society. Otherwise, the untouchables will no more wait, or they don't have any patience to be subjugated under the social inequality of Hindu religion. That is why he waited for 21 years, and finally 1956 he embraced Buddhism. On October 14, 1956, he embraced Buddhism, which had its own origin in India. So Buddhism had its origin in India, but it was destroyed, and the Buddhism, which was embraced by other foreign countries like China, Japan, Sri Lanka, other Thailand, all these countries, so they have highly progressed, they have highly developed because there is no social inequality. So all are treated as equal in social sphere. That is why Ambedkar had accepted, embraced an egalitarian religion, a progressive religion, which had its own origin in India. That is why you'll find that he wanted that Indian society should be reformed. The caste inequality which is prevailing in Indian society is creating a stumbling block in the progress of political democracy. That is why he wanted to establish social democracy. So his social democracy is based on liberty, equality and fraternity. And you'll find that that is the basic principles of social democracy which Ambedkar had envisioned. And he had fought for the human rights of the oppressed people, women, working class people. So that is why he had championed the cause of human rights of the oppressed people, working class people, women, who have been denied equality of status, who have been denied equality before law, because our society is based on inequality. So from his childhood, he had experienced the social inequality. So he wanted to establish or fight against social inequality. That is why Dr. Ambedkar had or he wanted to establish social democracy. And he said that social democracy is prelude to the political democracy. On the occasion of the 101 birth anniversary of N.G. Ranade, he described M.G. Ranade as the father of social democracy or real father of Indian social democracy, because Ranade had pleaded that social reform must precede the political reform. We all know that how the extremist Congress leaders led by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lal Bal Pal. They demanded that political freedom should be given, political democracy should be established first, then social reform will automatically come. But Gokhale, Ranade, and Ambedkar had the view that social reform should precede the political reform or political democracy. So unless we establish the good society, egalitarian society, so the political democracy cannot function properly, or political democracy cannot survive for a long time. That is why Dr. Ambedkar had said that social reform first should be made, then we should demand for political freedom. Similarly, also Gokhale, Ranade, they had demanded that Indian society is so much divided on the basis of caste, religion, sex, etc. So we should have reform first. Then we should demand for political freedom. But extremist leaders like Lal Bal Pal, they said that we should demand, we should first get political independence. So that is why Dr. Ambedkar did not participate in the freedom movement, because he said that those who are oppressed like women or downtrodden, who are the victim of social inequality, again they will be by ruled over by the same people who had been practicing social inequality after the British left India. That is why he did not participate in the freedom movement. He wanted that social revolution should come first, social reform should be made. So Indian society should be made an egalitarian society, progressive society based on liberty, equality and fraternity. Then political democracy we should demand, our political democracy will survive. That is why Ambedkar was not in favor of immediate political freedom like Gokhale, like Ranade, and also his guru was Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, who is called as the father of social revolution. So you'll find that Ambedkar wanted that social democracy should precede the political democracy, because the Western style of political democracy, which was envisioned by Nehru and others, is based on only liberty or political freedom, civil rights. So it had no connection with social and economic democracy. That is why Dr. Ambedkar has said that he had given the warning on 25th November 1949, while before submitting the drafting constitution to the President of India, to the President of the Constitutional Assembly, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, he had said that 26 January 1950, we are going to enter into a life of contradiction. We are going to enter into a life of contradiction. In politics, we will have equality, one man, one vote, one value. But in social, economic and social sphere, we will be denying the equality to the vast majority of the people, and it should be the social and economic democracy, equality should be established as soon as possible. Otherwise, those vast majority of the people who are the victim of the social and economic inequality will blow up this constitution, which the founding fathers have made very painstakingly. So that is why Dr. Ambedkar had given a warning on 25th November 1959, that unless we provide social and economic equality, to the vast majority of the people. Those who have suffered from this social inequality will blow up this constitution. So he had given the warning to the leaders of all the political parties that political democracy will not be successful unless we establish, we reform our society, unless we give social equality, economic equality to the vast majority of the people. That is why you'll find that he wanted to establish social democracy before the establishment of political democracy, because you'll find that social democracy or democracy is not a democracy is not a form of government only. It is a form of associated life. So democracy should be based on absence of glaring inequality, equality. It should be based on equality. It should be based on fellow feeling. Democracy should be based on constitutional morality, and it is based on moral order of the society. So you'll find that there should be fellow feeling among the members of the society. There should be a scope for conversation and agreement among the people in the society. So unless there is absence of inequality, so social democracy cannot be successful, political democracy cannot be successful. That is why he said that caste is a dividing factor of Indian society. Caste has produced inequality among the people of India. So it has fractured the unity of India. And you will find that Dr. Ambedkar has also prescribed that there should be existence of opposition party, and also the majority party should respect the minorities. There should be safeguard for the minorities. The majority parties should also respect the views of opposition. So these are certain conditions for the establishment of social democracy, or for the success of political democracy lies at the base the social democracy. So Dr. Ambedkar had given or cited the example of Germany and Italy, how in the absence of social and economic democracy in Italy and Germany, so the nascent democracy, the nascent political democracy, which were established in Italy and Germany, vanished from the Germany and Italy, because it led to the dictatorship of Mussolini in Italy and Hitler in Germany. That is why he had cited the example of Germany and Italy, where there is, because of the absence of social and economic democracy, there was failure of democracy, political democracy in Italy and Germany, which led to the domination by the fascist forces led by Hitler and Mussolini in Germany and Italy. That is why Dr. Ambedkar was opposed to any type of political democracy which do not have at its base the social democracy, or free from inequality, society free from inequality, society which is based on conversation and dialogue, society which is based on what moral order, society which believes in constitutional morality. So we'll have to cultivate constitutional morality among the people for the success of the political democracy. That is why you'll find that Dr. Ambedkar, like Martin Luther King Jr. of USA, who led the black movement for the human rights of black people, Nelson Mandela, who also led anti-apartheid movement in South Africa to champion the cause of human rights of black people in South Africa. Similarly, you'll find that in India, Ambedkar championed the cause of the black Indians or the untouchables to emancipate them from the what caste inequality or caste apartheid, which has been going on in Indian society. That is why he is the greatest champion of human rights, although the human rights concept was formally adopted by the United Nations General Assembly 1948 on 10th December 1948. It was adopted by the General Assembly. We celebrate the Human Rights Day, and that is why for the first time United Nations General Assembly accepted the social and economic rights of the people, wanted to champion the cause of human rights, to establish human rights in all the countries of the world. So, but before that, Ambedkar has been championing the cause of human rights of the downtrodden people, the oppressed people, the women, the Sudras, for establishment of egalitarian society, to give them space in democratic setup. So Dr. Ambedkar had greatly contributed towards the human rights, establishment of human rights, providing human rights for the downtrodden people, women, and that is why it is reflected in his constitution. It has provided, constitution has provided, or you'll find that fundamental rights to all the citizens, and the directive principle state policy wants to establish social democracy by giving removing the inequality, economic inequality, and establishing social equality, and by providing equal pay for both men and women, and children should not be engaged in hazardous work below 14 years age, then participation of workers and management. So many provisions have been provided in directive principle of state policy, and that is why you'll find that Justice B.R. Krishna Iyer, who was a former judge of the Supreme Court, is a renowned human rights activist, although he's an Iyengar Brahmin from Kerala, but he was a very rationalist person, very progressive Brahmin, who has delivered lectures on Ambedkar's birth anniversary. He has written books. He said that Ambedkar's contribution to making of Indian constitution is very much unique, and Ambedkar's constitution is pregnant with social revolution. Justice V.R. Krishna, who was died few years back, he is a great admirer of Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Krishna, V.R. Krishna, Justice Krishna of Supreme Court has said that Indian Constitution, which has been made by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, it is pregnant with social revolution, right? So that is why so many provisions have been made in the Indian Constitution, and in order to make Indian democracy successful, we'll have to use the constitutional methods to achieving our ends. So Ambedkar was not in favor of non-violent method or violent method. He was said that democracy is based on peaceful change. He was not believer in revolutionary method. He was believer in state socialism, but it was not based on any violent methods. So he had said that democratic socialism can be established through peaceful means. That is why without any bloodshed. So he said that democracy is a form and method of government whereby there is a revolutionary change in social and economic sphere which are brought about without bloodshed. So his idea of social democracy is based on uh, absence of inequality, and it is based on rule of law. It is based on equality of all the human beings. It is based on, you'll find that fellow feeling, fraternity, equality, liberty, and his social democracy is based on that there should be existence of opposition, that opposition should be respected, there should be safeguards for the minorities, and he was against the tyranny of the majoritarian rule, which is antithetical to democracy. So majoritarian democracy he was opposing. Dr. Ambedkar was also opposing hero worship, because hero worship will not good for a egalitarian society or a political democracy. That is why he was opposed to hero worship. So you'll find that Dr. Ambedkar wanted to establish social democracy, which is based on liberty, equality, and fraternity. It is based on constitutional morality. The people should be cultivated about the constitutional morality. So the social democracy should be based on conscience of the people, morality of the moral order of the people, and a society which is free from caste, which is free from religion domination, religious domination. So in that way, we can establish social democracy and we can establish human rights. So that is why he was opposed to political democracy without having social democracy. So it is Dr. Ambedkar who had championed the cause of the large, vast majority of the downtrodden people, working class people, or you will find the women who have been neglected, who have been denied rights. Although Ambedkar who had championed the cause of women, and it is Dr. Ambedkar who had given a right to franchise or adult franchise to women among the men people at the stroke of his pen while writing the constitution. At the same time, he provided political rights, right to franchise to both men and women. And you will be astonished to know that in England, in America, in many other foreign countries, the women were not given a right to franchise, right to adult franchise. In America and England, the male people first got the right to franchise. Women were given right to franchise after so many years. So in comparison to countries like America and England, it was Dr. Ambedkar. He gave equal rights or right to franchise to both men and women at the stroke of his pen in a single day when he made the constitution, he drafted the constitution. So this is the greatest contribution of women towards women liberation. You will hardly find the feminists, you will find the trade union leaders uttering the name of Ambedkar on a May Day, or uttering the name of Ambedkar on International Women's Day, because they are not aware about the contribution of Dr. Ambedkar towards the emancipation of women, towards the emancipation of the working class people. Although Dr. Ambedkar had provided for uniform civil code for all the Hindus, he wanted to reform the Hindu social order. He wanted to establish an egalitarian social order, just social order, so that political democracy will be successful. But that was opposed by the conservative forces, including Dr. Rajendra Prasad and others. But later on, 1956, some of the provisions of the Hindu Code Bill, which were not passed by the Nehru cabinet in Parliament. So there are some parts of the Hindu Code Bill were adopted or passed, some parts like Hindu Marriage and Succession Act, Special Marriage Act 1956. So they are made, so women were given a right to have property, which were denied by the Manu Sanghita. Women were treated as slaves, women were treated as untouchables, women treated as Sudras by Manu Sanghita, which said that women, Manu Sanghita said the women are get out to hell. So Manu had said that the high caste women, Manu had said that, talked about Anulom marriage and Pratilom marriage. Anulom marriage means high caste man can marry low caste woman. But low caste man cannot marry high caste woman. If a low caste man marries a high caste woman, there will be what punishment of the low caste women, low caste male people by the high caste people. Even political private parts can be cut off. Manu Sanghita says punishment can be given. So he has allowed Anulom marriage, that high caste man can marry low caste woman, or low caste woman can be kept as concubine by the high caste male people. But the low caste man cannot marry high caste girl, that is Pratilom marriage. So many bars have been made, inequality have been provided by the Manu Sanghita. So that is why 1925, he had burned down the Manu Sanghita, Manusmriti, along with his Brahmin friend, Sahasra Budhe. And that is why you'll find that he had in his mind, while talking about social democracy, he wanted to champion the cause of women rights, women folks who have been denied equality in Hindu scriptures. So that is why you'll find that there has been so many what bad things about the women written in Tulsidas Ramayana. You'll find that it says that Dholak Sudra Pasunari Ye Chari Jati Tadanar Adhikari. So that is why you'll find that our scriptures have provided inequality for women. So our Hindu society is based on inequality as far as women are concerned, as far as Sudras are concerned. That is why he wanted to champion the cause of human rights of Sudras, human rights of the women. He wanted to bring them to the national mainstream at par with the male people. That is why he had talked about liberty, equality and fraternity. He had talked about annihilation of caste. You'll find 1936. He had been invited by the Jat Paat Todak Samaj to deliver a speech at Lahore. This was organized by some of the reformers, Hindu reformers, that invited Dr. Ambedkar to deliver a speech on Jat Paat Todak Samiti. So Dr. Ambedkar had sent his manuscript to the organizer of the Jat Paat Todak Samaj, but he had criticized inequality or obscurantism which are prevailing in Hindu society. He has said that unless you demolish the caste system, unless you establish a casteless society, unless you establish a classless society, which is based on Hindu religion, and Hindu religion gives sanction to the caste inequality, that is why unless you remove the religious plank from this social inequality, unless you attack the Hindu religion, because he said that Hinduism is based on a bunch of castes. So Hinduism is not a religion, it is a bunch of castes. So that is why there is no unity among different castes. So nobody loves. So different castes, they don't talk to each other. They don't make any conversation. They don't make any compromise. That is why it is dividing the Indian society. It is providing, it is creating inequality among the people. So you'll find that Indian cannot have equality if we'll be having caste system. That is why you'll find that recently I read one comments by American scholars who had visited India. When he went back to America, one of his Indian friends asked him, did you meet Indians? He said, I went to India, but I did not see any Indian. So whenever he asked any person, he said, I am a Sikh, I am a Kshatriya, I am a Brahmin, I am a Sudra. So nobody said he's an Indian. And I found Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Indian Railways, but there is no feeling of Indianness among the people. That is why everybody likes his own caste. Nobody talked about that I am an Indian first. So it was Dr. Ambedkar who had said that I am Indian first and Indian last. So he never used his caste tag. And it was Dr. Ambedkar who had established the first political party, that is the Independent Labour Party. It is not based on any caste. So later on, he had also established the Republican Party of India. That is why Ambedkar was a great nationalist. So his thinking was that, so all the Indians should feel that they're Indian first and Indian last. So they should not have any feeling of I am Brahmin, I am Kshatriya, or I am Sudra, or I am Vaishya. So this type of feeling is dividing Indian society. And we have achieved independence after a long battle. Again, if you divide on the line of caste, again there will be rule by the foreigners. Again you will lose your independence. That is why he had made the statement that I am Indian first and Indian last. So we the Indians should rise above our caste, above our religion, above all sorts of discriminations should be removed so that Indian society can be established an egalitarian society. So nowadays you will find that political parties are exploiting the name of religion, name of caste, name of region to survive in politics, to come into power. So they are forgetting that they are doing very nasty things which is going against the unity and integrity of India. That is why Dr. Ambedkar had said that without social democracy at the base, so political democracy cannot survive, or we cannot provide human rights to our people if there is glaring social inequality in our society. So that is why he had something because of social democracy, to make India a progressive democracy, a vibrant democracy, which is based on the three principles of democracy: liberty, equality, and fraternity. So that is why he had given emphasis on fraternity, which he had conceived from Buddhist philosophy of Maitri. And he had believed in Buddhist sanghas, which is more parliamentarian, which is based on parliamentary democracy. So Buddhist sanghas are more parliamentarian than any other sanghas. So with this much, I conclude my speech by paying my homage to my regards to Professor Upendra Baxi, the renowned jurist, renowned professor of law, late Justice V.R. Krishna, who is a great judge who had championed the cause of human rights of the downtrodden people, although he belongs to upper caste, but he had decast himself. He had rose above the caste and religious line. So Justice V.R. Krishna is a champion of the human rights of the downtrodden people and women. Then you'll find that late Madhu Limai, he is a very progressive socialist leader. Although he himself is a Brahmin, he had defended the Mandal Commission when VP Singh had declared Mandal Commission report. So it is VP Singh who had given, who had brought Ambedkar to the center stage by putting the what you can say that photo of Ambedkar in Central Hall of India, which had been denied by the successive Congress government. Then he had also awarded Bharat Ratna to Baba Saheb Ambedkar, and VP Singh is the greatest champion of social justice. He had declared Mandal Commission by sacrificing the his prime ministership for the sake of the providing social justice to the 52% the other backward classes people, which was opposed by Mr. Arun Sori, the renowned journalist. But it was upheld. The BP Singh decision of declaring Mandal Commission as per Article 340 was upheld by the Supreme Court judges, constitutional benches headed by Justice P.B. Sawant. So Mr. Arun Sori was proved wrong, that how he instigated the students to go for anti-Mandal agitation in North India, whereas in South India there was no anti-Mandal agitation, because majority of the backward classes people, they had been enjoying reservations beyond 70%, and Jayalalitha was the first Brahmin chief minister in anti-Brahmin party of DMK, who put the reservation of 70% for SC, ST, OBC people in 9th schedule of the constitution, which cannot be challenged in the court of law. So this is how we have a journey of social justice movement or social quest for social democracy by Baba Saheb Ambedkar in order to strengthen the political democracy. So that is why you'll find that so many social reformers like Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, M.G. Ranade, they have made substantive contribution towards the social justice movement, towards the establishment of social democracy and human rights of the oppressed people. That is why we are so much grateful to all these social reformers. So with this much I conclude. Thank you very much to all the staff of the Subhadra Mata College, and especially the principal Dilip Babu, who had invited me to address the webinar on Dr. Ambedkar. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your information packed and illuminating deliberation. You have highlighted on Ambedkar's contribution to the judicial system, legal system, social justice, social democracy. Almost all the aspects of his political legal career have been discussed. I will now request Professor Muhammad Sakil, the IQC coordinator, to coordinate the question answer session. I will also request our students and teacher friends to put their queries, if any. Over to Professor Muhammad Sakil to coordinate this question answer session.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, it's my proud privilege that I got Mihir sir. He analyzed the situation in such a beautiful manner that our students, particularly political science honor students, they should learn from Mir sir. And if they have any question or any queries, they can ask directly to Mir sir to know if any question arises. Sir, Mir sir, I have one question
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. You can
know
ask
from Mir
anything.
sir. Sir, in this present political scenario, the what according to you, sir, the social justice is going to be threatened or in danger? Sir, what do you think that, sir, in this present political scenario? I think is social justice is in danger.
Um, See, the situation in India nowadays, you'll find that all the political parties have been appropriating the name of Ambedkar. So, what Justice V.R. Krishna had said in one of the lecture that justice in you'll find that he had said that injustice in deed, justice in words, injustice in deeds towards the oppressed people. So you'll find that in pen and paper, and in constitution, there has been so many provisions which has been there in the constitution, but it is not being implemented, and the social justice movement in India has become victim of appropriation of Ambedkar by all the political parties. There is leadership crisis among the downtrodden people, and after Ambedkar, there is no towering leader or towering personality who can champion the cause of downtrodden people. As a result, in the present day, the social justice has become victim of the present politics. So, Ambedkar name is being exploited to get votes from the different communities, but there is still inequality, there is still oppression on the basis of caste, on the basis of untouchability. So, untouchable bridegroom cannot ride a horse. He'll be beaten up. He'll be killed. So, Dr. Ambedkar had, that is why he did not participate in freedom movement. He wanted that the British should not leave India. So they should not give political freedom unless we reform our society. Gokhale was not in favor of political democracy, political freedom, because he wanted that our society should be reformed. So we have ignored the views of M.G. Ranade, we have ignored the views of Gopal Krishna Gokhale, we have ignored the views of Dr. Ambedkar, who were in favor of first social reform first, then political freedom. So we hurriedly got political freedom. So we only were interested for political freedom without strengthening the social democracy, without making any social reforms, without establishing egalitarian society. What Dr. Ambedkar had apprehended, that if political freedom will be given to Indians without social reforms, again there will be same type of discrimination, same type of domination, and which is happening because Indian society has not been made an egalitarian society. So what Justice Krishna had said, that Indian constitution is pregnant with social evolution. So we have not properly used the Indian constitution or political democracy to establish social democracy, economic democracy. That is why there is rising of Naxalite movement in India. The poor, the Adivasis who are being exploited, discriminated, now they are adopting extra constitutional methods. They are becoming Naxalites. So there is that is why Ambedkar had predicted that unless we remove this inequality, social inequality, economic inequality, so the political democracy which we have established cannot survive. So in India, it is going to be leading to a civil war because there is no fellow feeling among the Indians. So there is no religious freedom in India. So you'll find that the Ambedkar had also said that the tyranny of majority, majoritarian rule, majoritarian government is against the democratic spirit, is against the political democracy. That is why you'll find that social justice has been victim of this political appropriation of Ambedkar without following his ideas, without following his footprints. Only we, the victims, the Sudras, the untouchables are being exploited by using the name of Ambedkar. That is why you'll find a social justice movement in India is in danger. There is no unity among the downtrodden people. Their leaders have been purchased. Their leaders have become slaves. The leaders have become toys. They have been become pawns in the hands of the political parties. They do not champion the cause of their own people, those who have been elected from the reserve seats. So they remain silent when the atrocities are made on untouchables, so on Adivasis, because they have become slaves of their own political parties. That is why you'll find that Ambedkar's prediction has become true, that without social democracy, there will be the turmoil. Political democracy cannot be successful.
Thank you very much, sir, for your beautiful clarification, sir. I now again request the honor students of political science if they have any queries so that they can ask.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, I have a question.
Pachara.
Sir, the present reservation system need any reformation or not?
Which one?
The present reservation system need any reformation or not, sir?
You see, many people just they talk about reservation without knowing the meaning of reservation or concept of reservation. It is just like blind people just narrating the physics of elephant. So you see, the reservation system is not what poverty alleviation program. It is a sharing of power in a democracy. So if one particular caste or one particular class dominates the politics or political system, it is not good for this society. So there will be no equilibrium in this society. That is why reservation system or affirmative system have been introduced in America, in many other countries, in India also, to give representation to the people who are marginalized, who have been suppressed for a long. So reservation is not a poverty alleviation program. Reservation is a sharing of power, and you'll be surprised to know that from the introduction of reservation since 1950s till date, so reservation system has the victim of judicial activity. Any progressive measure which is taken by the parliament or the august law-making body is blocked by the judiciary. So on film's ground. So that is why you will find that Congress party or Indira Gandhi had criticized the judiciary as citadel of conservatism. So they don't see the progressiveness of any law. That is completely opposed at the judicial level, which that is why you find a reservation system is the victim of the judicial activism, and it is reservation is a sharing of power, that all the communities should be represented in the administrative system or administration, so that there is no domination of any particular caste or particular class. So it will be based on freedom, it will be based on equality, so that there will be no monopoly of political power by any particular class. So that is the main principle of reservation. And unfortunately, you find that nowadays there is no reservation, you can say. And 99% jobs are in private sector. Because 1990s we have introduced liberalization, privatization and globalization. LPG has been introduced by the Manmohan Singh government. All the political parties, all the successive governments have been implementing the LPG. So that is why virtually privatization of all the public sector undertakings. So there is hardly any reservation, only 1% reservation in government jobs. That is why you find that 99 jobs are in private sector, there is no reservation. Now, whatever reservations there, 1% reservation in government jobs, that is blocked by the judiciary in the name of providing justice, etc. So that is blocked. So that is why reservation is meaningless nowadays after introduction of liberalization, privatisation, and globalization. So 99% jobs are in private sector. There is no reservation.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
So, is there any student, any question from political science honor student or anybody else, or any faculties from other educational institution? They may ask their queries to sir.
One friend has asked question about role of Ambedkar as an economist.
Yes.
So, as an economist, Dr. Ambedkar was in favor of nationalization of nationalization of industries, nationalization of agriculture. On the basis of his thesis, which was submitted to the London School of Economics, on the problems of rupee. So that is why the on 1st April, 1935, the Reserve Bank of India was established on the basis of the ideas given by Dr. Ambedkar. So you find that as an economist, he was in favor of state socialism. He was in favor of nationalization of agriculture, nationalization of industries. That is why he wanted to establish a state socialism through peaceful means. He was opposed to violent method of socialism, or that is why he had contributed as an economist to the establishment of Reserve Bank of India, National of Industries and Nationalization of Agriculture. Although Nehru had promised to give him planning portfolio, which is very important for planning of India, but he was not given. That is why Ambedkar was very much dissatisfied with Nehru. He was only given the portfolio of law. So Ambedkar was a renowned economist, and as a student of Professor Harold Lasky, he has greatly contributed towards the you'll find that economic improvement of economic system of India.
Anybody else who may ask any question to sir, any queries? Because time is short. Any student of political science, please, they may ask question.
So
Any
now,
faculty member or any other student can ask any question.
so sir, now I request our esteemed principal, over to our principal, to carry on the meeting forward. Principal, sir.
thank you, Professor Mohammed Sakil, for coordinating this introduction session. And I will specially thank our esteemed research person, Mir sir, for rightly complying with the queries of the teachers and students. It has been quite a very satisfactory interactive session. Now, we are going to wind up this webinar. It's time. I will now call upon Professor Mamata Parida, Madam, to propose vote of thanks. Mamata Madam, are you here to listen to me? Mamata Madam, hello. Mamata Madam.
I think, sir, she is not available.
Okay. I will now ask our IQC member, Professor Suprava Parida Madam, to give vote of thanks. Suprava Madam, are you here?
Sir,
Okay.
sir,
Yes.
sir, I am here.
Yes. Yes. Now I call
Thank you, sir.
upon you to propose vote of thanks.
Respected me, sir, esteemed principal, sir, Sakil, sir, our coordinator IQAC, Sakil, sir, Balram, sir, and my dear students who are present here. It is just my pleasure to listen from Mir, sir, just on 14th of April, on the 131st birthday of B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, we planned to have this webinar, but unfortunately we are unable to get Sir since Sir was there at Tikiri, where due to web problem we could not reach him. But this program, such nice program organized, and Sir illuminating talk about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, I am astonished and I am just overwhelmed to know such works of B.R. Ambedkar. I never go through these things. Just on the day only the work he has done, the Constitution of India, it was written by him, and only he has done major works on untouchability. I thought that, but he has done so much of work. It should come into light, and in spite of development in social, political, and economic sectors in our country, still there are caste violence, discrimination exists among Dalits, women, which challenges the human dignity of the weaker sections. To eradicate these social evils, Ambedkar's works is need to be discussed in these forums. I thank you, Mir sir, for illuminating us the different works on social reforms and human rights of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. We will wait to listen from you again and again on his work. And thank you, sir. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you once again for your illuminating talk on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And I thank Balaram for coordinating this meeting, for arranging this meeting also. I also thank our principal, sir. It is just a very small thing for me. I can't pay much respect to him. His vision, his leadership has given us opportunity to organize such webinars and giving us beautiful platforms to listen from different speakers from Odisha, also from different institutions, national institutions. We are grateful to you, sir, for giving us this platform to listen in the seminar talks. And I thank all my colleagues who are present here, presently listening to me, sir, for 1.5 hours. Also, my thanks goes to my dear students who are patiently hearing or listening to the talk of Mir sir. And thank you all once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ଟିକେ ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ଗୋଟେ ପଏଣ୍ଟ କହିବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛି. So I would
Aଜ୍ଞା.
request all the faculty members and students to read Ambedkar from the Google. So I'll refer some of the writers like Dhananjay Keer, Padma Shri Dhananjay Keer, Life and Mission of Dr. Ambedkar. So Dr. Dhananjay Keer had written the book when Ambedkar was alive. So 1954, Ambedkar died on 6 December 1956. So he had written the most authentic book by Dr. Dhananjay Keer. Then you can also read The Makers of Modern India, written by Ramchandra Guha. Ramchandra Guha, who is frequently writes in Sambad newspaper, you'll find. So Ramchandra Guha has written Makers of Modern India. Then you can also see from the Google book written by American woman writer Gail Ombet. Gail Ombet. Then you can also read books written by Justice D.R. Krishnaiyer on Ambedkar, then Professor Upendra Bakshi on Ambedkar, then Madhu Limai. He has also written books on Ambedkar. So Dhananjay Keer, Gail Ombed, then Upendra Bakshi, Justice Krishnaiyer, Madhu Limai. So you'll find very fantastic and very progressive writing by all these writers. So thank you very much, Principal Sir and all the faculty members.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
you. Thank you, Meet sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
Suprabhadra madam, for proposing vote of thanks. I'll request in this platform, Meet sir, to come and address our students in the offline mode when climatic conditions get conducive. We'll
Yeah.
definitely make it a point to invite sir to come to the college, and our teachers and students can have really physical interaction with the meet sir when situation does permit us. Um, but I will
So
thank to all my students, my teacher friends, uh, uh, members of really my fraternity across Odisha, coming from different colleges and attending the program. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you, sir. Namaskar.